Welcome to Barkhouse Nature Bites. Today we're going to be talking about something that's not so much nature and plant related, but more about what we do to enjoy nature in the winter, and that's cross-country skiing, and really actually more about cross-country ski trail grooming than actual skiing. I'm by no means an expert in cross-country skiing. I've done a lot of cross-country shoeing, a lot of cross-country falling down, but today I do want to talk about all the work it takes to get those ski trails in shape for skiers. So first things first, you need, spoiler, snow. Once you got the snow, you get out there and start grooming those trails for skiers. And what you try and do is get all that snow nice and packed on those trails, nice firm base to allow for good skiing. So just pack the snow just like you're making a snowball. Same thing we're trying to do out there on the trails, is really pack it up. And really actually packing snow is called sintering, kinda. Where sintering is where you actually take, when you pack the snow, you're breaking the tips off the ice crystals in the snow, and it allows those crystals to adhere together, and that's what gets you a nice packed surface. Same thing when you pack a snowball, you're breaking those little tips, those ice crystals off, they adhere together pretty well. So that's what we're trying to do with all these equipment out there on the trails. You're trying to get that snow out there packed, sintering, for a nice trail surface for cross-country skiers. And there's a lot of variety of equipment to use. There's definitely snowmobiles, utility vehicles, tracks on them, large snow machines, and all those are going to tow something behind it to pack those trails. So we have a big heavy piece of equipment right here. We also got a lighter one. This is a roller. And this is something we're going to use early in the season. We just get those first snowfalls where we get a lot of snow, like over 5-6 inches, especially fluffy snow. This is lighter. That roller's lighter than this piece of equipment. It allows it to stay right on top. It doesn't push the snow off like this one might. It keeps it right in the trail surface, which is where we want the snow. So that packs the first time and gets enough so I can take this one out and really get that trail surface packed, level it off, flatten out those hills, fill in those valleys, and do a really good job of getting those trails ready to go. So this is a pretty heavy piece of equipment, but it does a really good job packing that snow. And what it leaves behind is a very flat surface, nice skate deck, and it leaves a little bit of a comb. And that surface, nice and flat with that comb, is good for skate skiing. And skate skiing, what they like is have a little comb in there so you get a little push with your skis as you push off, but you don't want a soft base because if you gouge in the snow, it doesn't make for good skiing. So that's why it's really important to pack that snow really well. Now for traditional classical skiing, you're going to want some track set in that snow. You want to cut some tracks in. That's what we got in the back here, some track setters. You see we started cutting one right there. And that's basically just cutting a groove in the snow to allow for skiers to stay in that track and really go out there and glide very well. For that to happen, you need a pretty good base, several inches at least. Otherwise, when you set those tracks, you're almost going right into the ground or the gravel of the trail, and it's not good for skiing. So you gotta have enough snow to make that happen, and sometimes it takes several snowfalls to get going. The other thing too is that every snow is different. Light fluffy snow, it's sometimes dry, if it's too cold, it won't pack very well, if it's too soft. Sometimes it's really wet snow, it's heavy snow, and you can't take the equipment out there, you really do more damage than you could if it's above freezing especially, so you gotta stay off, wait till it gets a little bit colder. So for ski trail groomers, they're really watching the weather. They gotta know how much snow, when is it gonna snow, the temperature, when's it gonna be done, and then they can make their grooming plans. And for ski trail groomers, staff and volunteers, they're gonna be doing this late at night, early in the morning. And they're doing that, yeah, it's colder for one thing, and there's less ski trail users out there. But the big one is, they wanna get out there and get those ski trails ready, set, groomed, and let that base that they just made set before the first users get on there. And that really firms it up really nice. So try to get it done as early as possible, but it all depends on the snow. The other thing too to keep in mind is that this takes a while. I mean, you're talking on the snowmobile here, you're going maybe 5 to 10 miles an hour, that's about it. So you're not like you're just zipping around like crazy out there, you're going pretty slow. And you gotta do 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 passes, maybe more if it's a lot of snow. Sometimes you gotta come in the middle of the snowstorm if there's a lot of it, otherwise it's too much to handle. So for ski trail groomers, it takes a long time. I mean, think about that. 5-10 miles, and out here Barkhouse, we got 9 miles of trails, doing 4 or 5 passes sometimes. Do the math, that takes a good amount of time. Other parks are double that in size, can be bigger, and it could take sometimes a full day. So have some patience with the ski trail groomer. They're trying their best, and it all depends on the snow trail conditions, the snow conditions. And that's one of the big reasons too we ask people not to walk or snowshoe on those ski trails once they're groomed up, because that definitely damages the trail, and that makes it not enjoyable for skiers. And all that work the groomer did to get those trails in really pristine shape was ruined, and it's really hard to fix sometimes. So we ask for anybody who wants to hike or snowshoe, use winter hiking or snowshoe trails and stay off those ski trails. Leave those for the skiers. So if you happen to see a ski trail groomer out and about, give them a thumbs up, thank you, because it's a lot of work, but I know they like it a lot. It's like a labor of love. And also, I know we're very fond of saying this here in Wisconsin, go pack go. Maybe instead of saying that, you see a groomer say, pack that snow. Thanks for watching Barkhouse Nature Bites.